Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Upgrade Guy Investing. If you don't know who I am, I go by Upgrade Guy on YouTube. I have another channel that's decently big, and I decided to branch out to a few other aspects that I enjoy talking about. So on this channel, we go through everything investing, crypto, stocks, whatever stuff that I'm currently into. We go over, my experiences on it. Was I profitable? Did I turn a loss through it? And a bunch of different other things. So in this video, we're going to be going over a bit of a group lending platform called LendingLoop. Now, this is a Canadian company, so if you're American or outside of Canada, you won't actually be able to sign up for the platform and invest into it. So in this video, we're going to be going over three different aspects. First, we're going to be looking at what exactly is LendingLoop. Second, we're going to be looking at how exactly does it work and how does it turn a profit for you. And third, we're going to be looking at my own personal experience with LendingLoop over the last 2.5 years and see have I been profitable and what that profit margin has been on the money I've invested. Like always, guys, smash that subscribe button down below. As a newer channel, that really helps out a ton. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below your experiences with LendingLoop or different investing platforms you would recommend. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so what is LendingLoop? Well, if you're a small business owner, let's say Bob had a hardware store and he really struggles to get a loan from a bank after COVID, he can go to LendingLoop and they'll assess his situation on a grade from A to E. Now, obviously, E being the lowest loan in terms of interest rate. So they pay upwards of 24% interest. Now, obviously, it's up to them to pay that, and that can be pretty high. But a lot of the A plus loans are like 4 to 5%, so they're actually quite reasonable. And LendingLoop's basically a group sharing lending platform. So multiple investors, hundreds of investors at once can go in on one loan. So if Bob needs $100,000, you could have upwards of 100,000 people investing little bits of money into this loan to finance his loan. Now, the loan only qualifies is if Bob gets the full amount of the loan. Otherwise, everybody's refunded the money back into their account. Now let's go into how LendingLoop actually works. All right, so how does LendingLoop work? Now, I've used LendingLoop for around 3 years now, and I'm going to show you guys my portfolio. It's not super big. I'm just an average guy. I don't have millions of dollars, but I'll show you how much I've actually made off LendingLoop since using it. And if I've taken any losses, we'll get through that really quickly after this. If you guys are signing up, you can use my affiliate link just down in the description. You get $25 once you put in $1,500 into your account. So just a little added bonus, and I get a tiny kickback as well if you end up actually using the platform. So in order to sign up, you would just go to Invest Now, and then you can either open up a personal account or a corporate account. Most of you obviously are going to open up a personal account. And it's actually pretty amazing. They've loaned up to $78 million to Canadian businesses since 2014. And I've been with them since around 2017. So yeah, pretty good for them. So we're going to open a personal account. Now their sign up process is pretty detailed. So you'll have to fill this out. They do require you to do a little bit of an interview where they ask you some of your financial details. And they're actually very strict how much money you can invest on their platform. So they'll give you a starting amount, and every year you can apply to invest more money. I think this is because they don't want you, because it can be a riskier investment. They don't want you to put too much into one spot, right? So just keep that in mind and make sure you know what you're getting into. And that's kind of why we'll go over the losses. But just keep in mind, I've only been here for 3 years. So I think like a 5 to 8 year range would be better, but I'll do updates as I go along. So once you finish this sign up process, we'll go ahead and check out what it looks like inside and how you actually get loans, not get loans, but how do you actually invest into the loans that are available. All right, so I have some of this information blurred out until we get to that. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes here, and I'll actually show you my gains and everything like this. But this is kind of what it looks like inside of LendingLoop. Now, in order to invest in a different loan, you would go to their marketplace right at the top here. They used to have an app as well, but they did get rid of it, which was unfortunate. It was actually pretty nice, but I'm sure they're just not at that stage yet where they can do that. So we're going to go to marketplace. So as you can see, there's no loans available right now. Part of this is economy based because of the pandemic. I did contact them and they did say that you will see more loans coming up. But usually before the pandemic, you would see a list of around 10 loans. And what it does is it tells you the loan. So it tells you what the service is, the loan name. It tells you the industry. So it gives you a lot of detail there. It tells you the interest rate that you'll receive. Keep in mind, Lending Loop does take around, I think it's 1.5%. So you would minus 1.5% from this, and everything else inside of that is all yours. So you get 17.5% over the 5 years. It shows you the loan grade. So this will correlate with the interest rate, right? And it may differ a little bit, but it pretty much correlates, and they're usually around the same based on the grading. And then it'll tell you what kind of loan it is. It's just a standard one. And then the loan amount. And I think that matters because, although you're obviously not putting in that much money into it, you still want to know how much this company, based on what their financial records are and stuff. And we can click on it here and it gives us even more details, right? So it'll tell you business details, financial security, Q&A, repayment schedule. So it tells you when they have to pay everything. So it is really quite nice. And then we'll go into what it looks like when somebody defaults as well. And I think that's really, really important. So it's really detailed, the marketplace. And like I said, it sucks that I can't show you guys how you would actually go about investing in it, in the specific loan. But the first thing you have to do is fund your account anyways. And when I started, I just put in $200. And then I have every month 25 or I think 50 every 2 weeks comes out and goes directly into Lending Loop. And I'll show you their auto invest platform where you don't have to do anything. It's just in and in and in, and you never have to touch anything if you don't want to. So you can be as involved as you want. And I'll talk at the end of the video if I recommend the platform and in which way you should be using it and optimizing its capabilities to give you some gains. All right, so here we are. Let's look at gains. That's what you guys wanted to see. So the first thing I want to show you guys is just my lifetime earnings, because this is the best way to break it down. And let's check this out first. So it has interest earned. So this is the total amount of money I've made basically. And that's $1,000 in 3 years. It doesn't seem like much, but once you see how much I've actually invested, you'll be like, wow, that's actually not bad. Fees paid are just the interest rate that Lending Loop takes off. So it's a pretty small amount. Like I said, it's really not as much as you think. And then that gives you your overall interest income. And then your gross charged off principals. So this would be amounts that borrowers didn't pay back. So this would be your any amount of money that's defaulted. So if the loan doesn't end up going through, they can't pay it back. Lending Loop goes after them hard, and you guys will see that in a second. And this would just be your net charged off. So just based off if they recovered any of your principal, which they haven't for me yet. But that's actually the first time I've had anything there in 2 years. So that's a good sign. I've had a lot of loans paid off. So let's go down here and let's look at my net deposits. So when I first started the account, I deposited around $1,000 in that first year. And you can see the account value in that first year. I made $76. And so let's go straight to 2020. 2010-20, my total net deposits were $3,100 and my account value was $38. So I made around $700 in 2020. I think I have 2020 selected. Yep. And then 2021 so far, we're up to almost $1,000 profit. We have our net deposit over time. I have had to take money out because it's just sitting there right now with no loans. But it is coming soon, more loans, I believe. So I would just wait on that. Now, if we go to my loan comments, you can see some of these are in default and some of them are in good standing. Now, there's more in default because of COVID, but they've done a really good job. Like usually I only have like 2 here. And you can see the amount of money I have invested in there is changing depending on the company. But they've done a really good job making sure that owners have a chance to pay it off. And they usually do, right? It's just they're late and that's all they can do for it. That's all it is. So they have to do what they can and they update you and they say, hey, and I had a couple here were charged off, and that's the ones that, they tried to go after them. And we were charging off this loan as the borrower. And so right here, so we were charging off this loan, the borrower filed for bankruptcy, investors post charge off. So any dividends that they do get, so any extra money, they will pay back to me. So I still can get some money back from that. And then we can look at this one too, any distributed. So I just have to wait on those ones to actually get some money back. But there's actually been tons of loans where they've been paid off within a year and I still get that same interest rate. So it really is, it's a great, great platform. And I like to put in more in some of the riskier loans, and that's just how I am. You can see my diversification. They don't like it that much. They want you in that green there. So the point of this platform, and I'll talk about this a little bit more before we get to it, is to just invest tiny bits of money. So let's just talk about how I recommend using this platform and if it's for you and what type of person I would suggest this platform for. All right, so who is this platform best used for? Now, I would really suggest this platform for like a beginner investor and specifically using their auto loan feature. Now, the auto loan feature lets you choose how risky you want your investments. So if you want to stay within those A to C loans where you get up to 12 to 13% interest, then you can set that. And every time a loan pops up, they'll put your requested auto deposit amount, whether that's their minimum 25 or you want to go up to 50, into that loan. And that way, every time somebody pays you interest, you're automatically reinvesting that money back into another loan. So you continue to build up your portfolio with tons of different loans. Now, for beginner investors that don't know much about the stock market or investing on other platforms, this is a great set it and forget it. If you want to save up for retirement or you want to save up a good chunk of money over 10 to 15 years, every week, every 2 weeks, $25, $50 directly into the platform. And when they have loans going, you're going to see a nice return. I would say a lot better return than you're going to say if you just leave your money with your bank or you're just having it sit in a savings account. So for a safe, I would say a relatively safe, unless you're like me and you like to chuck $500 on an FE loan for no reason because I'm bored. It's relatively safe. You're not going to lose a lot of money. I think their overall default rate, or I know their overall default rate is between 4 to 5%, which is really low in the industry. So it's quite good. And, overall, this is a great platform, like I said, especially for those beginner investors. So hopefully you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe down below for the rest of my videos where I'll be going over different investor platforms and explaining different investment concepts to my subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will check you in the next video.